Selene Carter had no choice. Her people were on the brink of destruction. The barbarian army of the feared King Darius Thornwood was advancing, burning villages and enslaving the survivors. The elders spoke of peace treaties, but Selene knew the truth. Darius was not a man of negotiations. Selene was no courtesan. She was a warrior, raised for battle, with scars on her skin and blood on her hands. But that night, she would not enter the barbarian king's castle wielding a sword. Her body would be her weapon. Draped in a thin, revealing fabric, she was led into the grand hall. The scent of roasted meat and wine filled the air. Rough men laughed loudly, celebrating their victory, while slaves danced to entertain the warriors. But only one man mattered. Seated on a massive throne at the center of the room, Darius Thornwood watched everything with a calculating gaze. He was enormous, his body sculpted from war, scars marking his sun-kissed skin. His long, dark hair fell over his broad shoulders, and his cold steel eyes locked onto Selene the moment she entered. She held her breath. The hunt had begun. Selene was brought before him, her heart pounding as she knelt at the king's feet, feeling his predator's gaze burn through her. "Who are you?" His voice was thunder, deep and commanding. She lifted her gaze slowly. "Someone who can offer you pleasure like no other woman has." Silence fell over the hall. No woman had ever dared to speak to Darius Thornwood this way. But Selene knew exactly what she was doing. He was a warrior, and warriors liked a challenge. His eyes darkened with intrigue. "We shall see." He leaned forward, gripping her chin with his strong hand. "If you lie, you will pay with your life." Then, without warning, Darius pulled her onto his lap, his large hands exploring her waist, his heat seeping into her skin. The scent of leather, iron, and wine filled her senses. Her mouth went dry. Gods, he was a force of nature. Selene knew how to seduce. But she hadn't expected him to know as well. Darius carried her to his chambers like a predator carrying his prey. The moment the door shut, he pinned her against the wall, his gaze burning with untamed hunger. "I accept your offer, woman. But be warned, I am not a gentle man." Her body trembled, but not from fear. She wanted to play. She wanted to see how far she could push him. Selene smirked, running her fingers over his broad chest, feeling the tense muscles beneath his skin. "Then don't be gentle." That was all he needed to hear. The barbarian king claimed her with raw, unrestrained passion, exploring every curve of her body, drawing moans of pleasure as he dominated her completely. And that night, as the sheets bore witness to her surrender, Selene wondered who had truly seduced whom. She had entered the castle to bend a king to her will, but now she belonged to him.